Welcome to the Goalbusters Expert Peak Productivity Tips podcast, where top business experts get just 7 minutes to answer 5 rapid-fire questions about what they do and how they stay productive. Each episode is packed with actionable insights to help boost your efficiency and achieve your goals. Let's dive in and unlock the secrets to peak performance. Well, hello everyone. My name is Robin J. Emden, and I'm an accountability coach and author of Get Resultsology, the science of getting stuff done. I work with people who own their own business, no boss, distractions everywhere, and never enough hours in the day. Together we cut through the noise, sharpen their focus, and follow through on the big ideas that actually moves the needle. That's what I call the momentum formula. Do it today, profit tomorrow, and repeat. So if that sounds like the kind of breakthrough that you've been looking for, then you're in exactly the right place. And speaking of being in exactly the right place, I am delighted to welcome our guest expert today, Jaya Rose. Jaya is a speaker and personal brand coach who empowers purpose-driven entrepreneurs to own their voice and message confidently and grow their business with a magnetic personal brand. Jaya, welcome to Goalbusters.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
You're extremely welcome. I'm happy you're here too. This is our second attempt at getting together. Such are the joys of busy schedules. Whereabouts in the world are you?
I'm in Portland, Oregon. Lovely fall, about to look forward to 8 months of rain.
Yeah, it's already here in England. Can tell you it is going to be wet. All right, so perhaps instead of waffling on, shall we get the clock up and do the questions instead?
Okay.
Okay, so I'll get the clock moving, and there it goes. Jaya, could you tell me, please, who is your ideal client?
Well, you mentioned purpose-driven entrepreneurs. I also say impact-driven because I help people who help people. So when you have a service, when you have a business that helps other people, and very often it becomes challenging to tell people what you actually do, those are my ideal clients.
Fantastic. Yeah, purpose-driven, absolutely. All right, so you've alluded to it a little bit there, but maybe we could expand, please, on the point about what is exactly the problem or problems that you
Mhm.
solve for them.
Yeah. The problem is that so many of us are experts. And when we're an expert, we know what we do and we have the experience to really genuinely help people. But the problem is that it's hard to talk about. It almost feels impossible for most of my clients to open their phone and do a 90-second video and express the value of that work. And that happens to be my expertise. I've been online for 10 years using video and then short form video for almost 6 years. So I've really found that there is just such a disconnect between being the expert and then translating that expertise into the marketplace. So I love to help my clients do that because I think we need more good-hearted helpers out there making great money doing what they love.
Absolutely. Could not agree with you more. That's perfect. I love what you do. Thank you. So what is one valuable free action that our audience can implement that will help them to move a little way towards solving this problem for themselves?
Do you mean like a framework right now or an actual free resource
A
when you say that?
framework, something they could do right
Yeah.
now, as opposed to immediately having to dive into looking at
Yeah.
employing you.
Yeah. I love that. So, one thing I like to say that usually gets some mind blown emojis back at me is that your ideal people that you're online looking for, right? So, you take your expertise, you start to build a brand, you start to put content out or think about paid ads. The ideal people who you're speaking to are already looking for you. And so when you approach it that way, you realize that we're not trying to educate people on their problem. What we're doing is we're positioning you as the person who's ready to solve that problem. And that informs how you speak about what you do. It informs your marketing and your messaging. So the tip really is to think about your ideal people, your ideal client, and what they would be putting in the search bar. So they're addressing their problem. How are they addressing it? What are they saying? And then we take that. So, for example, say it's a woman who just had a baby and she wants to lose the baby weight, but she doesn't want to restrict her diet. And so she's going to search lose baby weight without dieting. That is what to make your content around, and that is what to put on your title, and that is what to put in your description. Lose baby weight without dieting. That may not be what the expert is going to think to express, but when we shift the lens that we are creating our personal brand for our ideal people to find us, I just find that that's so helpful to get out of your head and out of your own way and actually make what you do effective.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant. Yeah, completely agree with you. I understand exactly the point you're making, and you made it very clearly. So hopefully, and I'm sure our listeners and viewers will too. So now that we have a little bit of a better understanding of what you do, and I always say a little bit because we can't possibly do it justice in the few minutes that you're with us today.
I need an hour and a half.
Exactly. But let's just dive briefly, if I may, into goal busting, which is focusing on how to maximize productive time to achieve your business goals. Jaya, could you share any tips or advice for someone looking to improve their own productivity habits?
Yeah, I definitely can. Well, I don't know if any of your listeners are neurodivergent, ADHD, and or just relate to the idea that they procrastinate. And I think that procrastination is one of the most common things that comes up when you're talking about setting a goal. And I love to do a reframe on this. So if I could just offer you all a reframe, I hope this changes your life forever in terms of how you address your own productivity. I do not procrastinate. I am motivated by a deadline. And that is probably the same for you. So if we, first of all, just take all of the shame and judgment away from the fact that if you have a project that you're working on, and like you mentioned at the beginning, it's open-ended. There's so many distractions that we just assume that that's true. And we look at where we can self-implement deadlines, because then you will be motivated. And if you don't take action until that deadline feels like it's actually impeding on you, then you've implemented a great deadline for yourself, right? The deadlines are working. So this is how I, as an ADHD entrepreneur, have been successful for 23 years working my own business. One, I'm unemployable, so I certainly can't deal with someone else's deadline, but I can deal with my own, right? But not if I'm judging myself the entire time because I think I should have had it done by now. Is the deadline up? No? Then the project's not done. Just that simple.
Yeah, it is. And I love it when people come on who don't procrastinate, because success leaves clues. And I'll probably spend the next, if I was allowed to, I'd spend the next couple of days picking your brains. Well, what else do you do? What else do you do? because what you say is very insightful. Thank you very much. So in the minute that we've got left, could I just ask you briefly, what should I have asked you today, Jaya, that I didn't? And obviously your answer, please.
I think a valuable question when you're going to approach your personal brand, and I think a lot of people have it, is how much of myself should I put into my personal brand online? Because we always hear that you have to build trust, you have to tell stories, what do you actually do in terms of that? And so I'll answer it, and it's really simple. You are bringing your party self to your brand. So your brand, your personal brand, is you hosting a party. And why this is so important is because you don't have to have everything clean in your house to host the party in the living room, right? You don't have to have not been a hot mess the day before to host a party in the living room. You're going to be ready. You're going to be prepared. You're going to bring people through an experience that you created. And all of that is on purpose. It's also authentic. And I think that people get in their way of like, is it authentic if it's planned? Sure, it is, because you would still be authentic if you were hosting the party, but you would know that you were the host. So be the host when you're in your brand, and don't think that you have to be perfect all the rest of the time.
Fabulous. Absolutely love that distinction. Thank you so much for sharing that with us today. Even though it was only 7 minutes, well, a few seconds over, but it was a masterclass, an absolute masterclass. Thank you so much, Jaya, for sharing with us today what you do and your very, very interesting insights, which just leaves me one final question, which is a two-parter. I always ask at this point, which is one, how can people reach you? And the second part is there like a valuable free resource? Because I quite cheekily say, what can they do for themselves for free? But I know that just gives them a chance to gives the guest a chance to showcase their expertise. And so now, is there more they can get from you? Because that's a brilliant way of people finding out more about what you do. And then hopefully they'll get in touch.
Of course, because when you have a personal brand, you never want to lead someone to a dead end, right? So I do not lead you to a dead end. I have, you can find me on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook with Jaya Rose, everywhere. The handle is at with Jaya Rose. And then you can also go to withjayarose.com, and Jaya is JayaRose, with Jaya Rose. And there you will find a free resource, which I highly recommend you grab. If you have any trouble expressing the value of your work in the marketplace, you will love it. It's a 20-minute messaging guide that walks you through a 3-part easy framework of finding your core message, and then also how to approach your unique POV, right? Your unique point of view in your brand, because we need to stand out too, right? No, we're not going to be vanilla. So grab that, and would love to hear from you whether or not it helped you.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. That sounds like a really powerful resource. Well, I'm not surprised that you have something that up your shirt sleeves, as we say here in England. So thank you so much. Jaya Rose, that has been brilliant and amazing. And I'm so glad that we did finally get together after one aborted attempt with the schedules. Jaya Rose, thank you so much for appearing on Goalbusters today.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
You're extremely welcome. And remember, everybody, keep goal busting and make your future self proud. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Goalbusters. If you're enjoying it, please subscribe, rate and review it on your favourite podcast platform. Your support is very much appreciated. And if you're ready to boost your online profits, skyrocket your productivity, crush procrastination, and see a positive change in your bank balance, all within just 30 days, this is your opportunity. Take my free 5-day challenge at www.skyrocketyourproductivitychallenge.com.